Welcome back. I'm Wavepunk, and this is day 45 of producing for a year. Today, I decided to start adding some things to the track that I had been thinking about for many weeks at this point. I wasn't feeling particularly inspired today to really develop new things, and so, you know what, one thing that we could do to just be productive is just do the kind of busy work of putting things in place that we knew we wanted to do. Let's start with effects and sweeps and sounds like a whoosh in the night. Let's put those in place. I started with these trailer effects, a sound we added many weeks back. It's literally just like sound effects from movie trailers with a really heavy echo reverb on top of it. We mostly put those in the kind of the pre-drop area to add some space and texture. Added a few of those post-drop to subsections that were kind of boring. Next, I wanted to add more swells and risers, but I wanted new ones. I didn't want to just keep using the same swells for every piece that I'm working on. So I went to Sample Focus and browsed what they had. They had a few things that was good, but while I was doing it, I had an idea of how I could build one from scratch, and it's always much more interesting when I'm building it instead of just downloading one. The idea was to take a noise generator, like an 8-bit Magical plugin set to the noise oscillation type, and put a notch in the EQ to have it sweep through the noise. I've heard this in other trance music, but I've never actually done one myself. Thought it would work out pretty well. Okay, that's a great foundation, but how do I make it more interesting? The first thing I tried was to go to the Step Filter, the multi-effects plugin that we like so much, and experiment in that, see if we can find something.
Alright, so this is actually really cool. I've never thought to do this, but this is a really cool sound. I'll link the episode down below where we picked this entire plugin apart, and you can understand it along with me. But the step modulator here is set to automate the mix on the reverb in this effect. This is super cool. I've never thought to do this, but the mix, like how much reverb is in a sound, is something that almost always I've left static anytime I've ever used a reverb. But being able to change the space of the room is a really kind of foreign sound that's a very common thing in techno, when you have these kind of big, spacious sounds where all of a sudden everything just drops out. In EDM, a lot of times you just have hard cutting sounds. Tremolos often are a sound that we've in this track put tremolos on top of very big spacious sounds in an attempt to make them not sound as big and to make them sound to kind of for moments in the song limit the space they are in. So you can see it jumping around here. If I turn off that filter, just leaves it at full off. You have a little bit of delay sneaking through that kind of creates sort of reverb effect. But if I turn this on, you'll hear there's you hear it bouncing around, and you can hear it continuing to as on the tail, because the reverb would carry on for a long time. So as the reverb is basically, it's like someone's just sitting there just flipping the light switch on the reverb. That's really cool. Does this particular effect work well? I like it. I think we'll leave that there for now.
This worked well. The sound is definitely more interesting, but I was definitely also dealing with a suspicion. I wasn't in the best of moods on this day, and I was dealing with a suspicion in the back of my mind that no matter how many sounds I layered on my track, it was never going to fix the problems I've been having of it. It feels somehow overcrowded, while also being incredibly boring sonically. Not the music of the track. The music, the chords, the melodies, the rhythms, I think we're all fine and dandy, but the ways the sounds of the track kind of blended with each other, to me, they sounded like it was hard to pick them out from each other. It was hard to really tell what was going on in the track because there was so much going on, and yet at the same time, it just felt like there's just a sound here or there's a sound there. It didn't feel like I was filling out the whole space and surrounding the listener with sound. A feeling I have a lot when I listen to other EDM music, and I want my music to feel that way. So, given that this is a type of trance track, I thought maybe I could find some videos about trance mixing and trance space. So, go over to YouTube. First off, thanks so much for commenting. I love reading what you all think about the videos. But then in my search, surprisingly, I did not find like anything that was helpful. A lot of videos were about DJ mixing, which really isn't relevant at all to what I'm specifically doing. None of these are really about mixing or space, like how to create, how to make the sounds all pop through the mix while also surrounding the listener, where to put things, where to put things and why to put them there. Didn't find a single video about that stuff.
I feel like I've made this video a few times where I try to go on YouTube and find tutorials about the thing I want to do, and I don't find it, and then I just come here and complain about YouTube. I'm starting to wonder if maybe it would be worth actually going back to school and like finding either like a program or like a tutor of some sort that that I think makes good music, and I'm excited to ask questions of and see if they can give me some guidance on some of this stuff. Not every day though is going to be a like plow forward to make lots of progress, and that's really frustrating. But I do think with it being daily content, with this being I'm literally sitting down to do this every day regardless of how well I feel, there are going to be days like that. So I'm not going to beat myself up about it. It has been technically an hour of recording, even though very little music has gotten put down here. We did build this little riser thing. I was just adjusting the volume of it as well, so now it kind of comes in, swells up and then dips out, so it doesn't affect it, doesn't carry over. So that's cool. We'll keep working on it tomorrow. Thanks for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.